Google Glass, pois é. Então, olha só, vamos ver aqui um vídeo agora do criador do Google Glass, que ele vai ensinar as técnicas de prototipação que ele utilizou.
My name is Tom Chi. I spent 2 years of my life building the user experience team for the Google X division of Google. And it's a place I affectionately called the Department of Science Fiction because of the futuristic nature of the types of projects we took on. Self-driving cars, Google Glass, and other things that you'll see soon enough. So for those who haven't heard of this project, this is what Google Glass looks like. It allows you to overlay digital things into your eyesight while still maintaining being part of a world. So if I were to pull out my cell phone and look into it, I'm basically out of this world now. Like I'm in my own little cell phone, tablet world, what have you. But Google Glass has the vision of allowing us to continue to be in the world, but also have access to the digital things that we need and we love. Now, I'm going to ask you a really simple question about Google Glass. How would you prototype this experience? How long do you think it would take you to make the first working version of a heads-up display? Okay, a little bit on the long side. The answer is 1 day. And here's what it looked like. So basically, the magic piece is the coat hanger. The coat hanger, I bent it in a specific shape, and the top loop goes around your neck, and then the bottom loop rests against your chest. And it allows me to carry a piece of plexiglass on which a little sheet protector. So these are the things that you put your book reports in so they don't get wet. I literally got it at the drugstore. Have it out at the end of the plexiglass, and then it gets projected onto with the Piker projector that's connected to a netbook. And using this setup, within 1 day, we were already able to start having the experience of what it looks like to have digital things overlaid on your physical world, be able to move around with it, and also use the netbook to try out tons and tons of different ideas around software. Now, after you start getting something like that working, a really important problem comes up. Like, you're wearing this thing on your head. It's like a pair of glasses. So you don't have a mouse or a keyboard or a touch screen, all the ways that you're used to interacting with a machine. So we thought for a second, well, maybe we could do something like what was shown in Minority Report. So for folks who haven't seen that, basically Tom Cruise is manipulating software with his hands in front of his face, and photos are flying over here, and his emails over here, and so on and so forth. So that's the same question again. How long do you think it would take to have the real experience of doing something like that? 2 years, okay. Somebody said 1 day. 45 minutes. So here's how it looks. So you wear the thing that we saw the first time because you need some way to go project things. But what happens is we got 2 hairbands, which I think was the hardest part. We had to go ask people for their hairbands. But you put one hand in each hairband, and attached to that hairband, we tied a fishing line. And the fishing line goes over the top of a whiteboard and then goes down to this little assembly that's taped to the floor. And what this means is every time I move my hand in any direction, it adds tension to the line, and it does the following with the assembly on the floor. So the other end of the fishing wire is attached to a chopstick. And it's not because I'm Asian. There's just a cafeteria nearby. I don't just carry chopsticks on me. But I tied it to the end of a chopstick. I clipped it into a binder clip and then put it over a pen. And basically what happens then is when you move your arm and it produces tension on the wire, chopstick comes down like a lever and clicks a presentation clicker. One hand moves the presentation forward, the other hand moves the presentation backwards. So this was built in 45 minutes, and that meant shortly afterwards, we were having experiences like looking at an image gallery and saying, next image, previous image, or looking at our emails and saying, let me click into this email, let me click reply now. And this was exactly the experience of what it was like to go control software with your hands. And ultimately, what it taught us is we probably shouldn't have this in the product. We learned a lot of things about the social awkwardness of it and some of the ergonomic aspects of it that you couldn't have figured out ahead of just thinking about it. And ergo, the second prototyping rule, which is doing is the best kind of thinking. They teach you to think a lot in school, but I think it's a little bit overrated. Now, last example, actually, Google's not the first team that's tried to go make something like this. And if you search for heads-up display, you get tons of images of teams that have built various systems like this. But I can tell you at a glance that none of these pieces of hardware are comfortable to wear for more than 15 minutes, except for maybe the helmet over there. But then you got to wear a helmet. So, how would you go figure out a way to go wear something like this comfortably? The answer is really basic materials. Modeling wire, paper, clay, and using something like this is able to make something that looked like a pair of glasses really quickly. I cut out pieces of clay that weighed exactly the same amount as the electronic components that we were talking about putting on the device, wrapped it in paper so you didn't get clay on your face, and then taped it to the modeling wire in various places to go experiment with how a pair of glasses could fit on you. And we discovered something really important then. Like, if you look at this drawing on the bottom, it turns out that the weight of a pair of glasses is actually mostly perceived through how much weight is on your nose. And it also turns out that your ears can carry a lot more weight than your nose, and that's a totally different experiment. You could ask me about that. But because of that fact, if you put weight behind your ears, it allows your ear to go act like the fulcrum of a lever, and it then takes weight off of your nose on the front. And actually, you guys can try this now. Anybody with glasses, if you push very gently on the back of your glasses, you'll find actually your glasses feel tremendously lighter. Now, this meant that we not only discovered something interesting about how to go, that's useful for developing a device like this, we actually discovered something pretty fundamental that had never been discovered about glasses, period. So if you have really heavy glasses, you can do this and you will be more comfortable. Now, the last point I want to make is about two types of learning, because through the process of rapid prototyping, you're able to learn very, very quickly. But it's a very specific type of learning. The type of learning that you usually learn in school, I call book learning. It comes from what humanity already knows, and it's a necessary foundation for you guys to go explore the world. But there's a totally different type of learning, which I call expansive learning. And this is the learning that you do on behalf of humanity. Right? You are creating something new. You are expanding into the possibilities, and you're building that sphere of human knowledge in that process. And we think about these things, and as soon as you hear, like, okay, the infinite realm of possibilities beyond the sphere of human knowledge, you might be thinking, well, there's the scientists at the Large Hadron Collider and who have these amazing instruments. Like, that's their job, right? But the truth is that this action is available to all of us. It's not just for the scientist, it's also for the poet or the songwriter that expresses an emotion for the first time in a unique way. It's also for the person that has an amazing business idea that they're certain can help millions of lives. And it's the realm of using paper, clay, and tape in order to go find a new insight in an ancient technology. So now that you guys know a lot about rapid prototyping, I'm excited to see what you'll do with it. Thank you.
Muito interessante essas reflexões que ele traz, não é mesmo? Dá uma olhada aqui nos protótipos iniciais do Google Glass, como é que ele foi avançando até chegar na versão final, que ainda nem foi lançada. Mas essa é a reflexão interessante. Não é porque esse produto não ganhou o mercado de massa que efetivamente podemos dizer que ele não deu certo. Olha a quantidade de aprendizados que o processo de criação desse produto, de criação do Google Glass, trouxe para o Google. O que será que eles vão criar a partir desses aprendizados? Aqui tem o resumo das 3 regras de prototipação do Tom Shi que ele falou no vídeo. Primeira delas, procure o caminho mais rápido para a experiência. Você viu que ele conseguiu criar o primeiro protótipo do Google Glass muito rápido. E a partir disso, ele já conseguiu ter alguns insights, algumas sacadas e validar algumas hipóteses. Segunda regra, fazer é a melhor forma de pensar. A gente, durante muitos anos na escola, a gente foi ensinado que a gente deveria pensar para fazer. A nossa proposta aqui com esse método é inverter essa lógica. É fazer para pensar e quando você pensa, você faz de novo e isso vira esse ciclo. Ao invés de pensar e só depois fazer, você faz, pensa em ciclos mais curtos e interativos. E a terceira regra dele, use materiais que se movam na velocidade do pensamento para maximizar o aprendizado. Então, o protótipo que vocês estão criando, sejam eles protótipos físicos ou protótipos digitais, seria muito legal seguir essas 3 regras. E queria destacar também esse ponto que ele trouxe no vídeo, de que a esfera do conhecimento humano está dentro desse que ele chama de book learning, que é o conhecimento já existente nos livros, que alguém já pesquisou, estudou, implementou. Mas você, empreendedor, empreendedora, você também tem a oportunidade de expandir esse aprendizado, sair só do aprendizado do livro e ir para esse que ele chama de expansive learning, em que efetivamente você vai poder descobrir coisas que talvez nunca ninguém tenha descoberto. E isso nos remete ao conceito da startup enxuta, do inglês Lean Startup. Recomendo a leitura desse artigo do Steve Blank, porque o Lean Startup muda tudo, essa nova lógica de construir negócios. O ciclo desse aprendizado da startup enxuta é muito interessante, porque ele começa com o construir, medir, aprender. Você constrói um produto que é a solução para um problema, mede, obtém dados, aprende. Esses aprendizados geram novas ideias e esse ciclo é contínuo e dessa forma você consegue ir validando hipóteses e ir interagindo bem com o seu potencial cliente. Lembra que nessa fase o objetivo é que você consiga tirar o escorpião do bolso do cliente, que ele efetivamente esteja disposto a pagar o primeiro real pela sua ideia, pelo seu produto ou serviço. Então é por isso que nós interpretamos tudo até agora como hipóteses. E nós precisamos, então, validar essas hipóteses, essas ideias-chave iniciais, com dados do mundo real, antes de investir mais tempo e dinheiro no projeto que a gente se propõe a fazer. A gente precisa colocar algo na mão dos clientes. Não precisa ser o produto final, para poder receber o feedback o quanto antes. O foco está em testar as hipóteses mais críticas no começo. E para isso é importante que você fracasse rápido, sem gastar muito, para que isso seja uma grande fonte de aprendizado. E é super interessante observar que nós podemos rodar o ciclo invertido também. A gente acabou de ver, ó, construir, medir, aprender. Você constrói o produto, mede obtendo dados e aprende com ideias. Mas a gente pode fazer o oposto também. Esse aprendizado ele gera uma hipótese, a hipótese gera uma métrica e essa métrica retroalimenta o experimento. Então lembra, vocês são empreendedores que estão experimentando ideias, experimentando problemas, experimentando potenciais clientes e com isso, a cada hipótese que você vai validando, você está mais perto de conseguir chegar no Problem Solution Fit, que é aquele encaixe problema-solução. Agora um exercício para você refletir. Se você quisesse lançar um Tinder para cachorro, como testaria a sua ideia? Dá uma pausa aqui no vídeo e escreve algumas ideias que você pode ter. Isso vai fomentar a sua criatividade.